Hello, my friends. God's peace be with you this Advent season as we look forward to the celebration of Christ's coming and his birth at Christmas. I want to share some devotions with you this Advent season as we make our way through this toward Christmas. As I was thinking about what to share, I started thinking about Christmas music. It's all around us already, and we all have our favorite Christmas music. Might be a sacred hymn, might be a Bing Crosby, might even be that distinctive piano tune from the Peanuts Christmas special that you recognize instantly every time you see it, or at least I do, having watched it as a child every year, it seems like. We have our favorite sorts of music, and whether or not it makes your favorite list, I want to focus on a particular hymn this year. O Little Town of Bethlehem. Do you remember how that first verse goes? I want to just focus on that verse as our theme for these Advent devotions. That's a starting point for our reflections. Do you remember how the first verse goes? Okay, this is not a quiz, so let me play it. This is a recording that we made a few years ago during our COVID shutdown. And I want to play it again, just that first verse, to remember those words. Listen to as Julia plays or sings for us the first verse of A Little Town of Bethlehem. There's one particular line in that hymn that really got me thinking, and that I'm going to use as the jumping off point for our devotions this year. And it's that third line, "Yet in thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light." I have this image in my head of this little narrow street in this small town with a sliver of light breaking through a half-open door indicating that leads to that rough accommodation of wherever it is that Joseph and Mary were staying and where Jesus was born. Of course, that's maybe not exactly how it worked. And this hymn isn't talking exactly about candlelight or lamplight. It's talking about Jesus as the light of the world that came to shine on that particular street in that specific town in Judea on that wonderful night. And that line got me thinking. Like I said, it sort of made me wonder, how does the light of Christ shine on some of the streets that we're familiar with? What does the coming of Jesus mean for Abbott Road, Circle Drive, Michigan Avenue, or maybe even Roberts Lane, the little dirt road that I live on up in Bath? The birth of Jesus, the appearing of God in human flesh, the incarnation, to use the theological term, changes how we look at the world. Because you see, God didn't wait for us to escape this world to come and to be with Him somehow. It's the exact opposite. God left His throne to come down and live with us. We know that Jesus came into this world to save us, to offer Himself on the cross as a sacrifice for our sins and to conquer death, but that's Easter, and we'll talk more about that in a couple months. Right now we're talking about what it means that God came down to live on a street like the ones that we travel down every day. This tells us that Jesus is intensely interested in this world and in the people who live here and in the lives that we lead on the streets that we travel. Jesus brings light and life and peace and hope to us right where we are, in the midst of this world's confusion and brokenness, and that light that peace, that hope, can change how we approach the places where we live and work and shop and all the things. Because you see, we're not trying exactly to escape these places. Christ calls us to live as his people right here, right now, and to bring that light to these places. Just like his presence lit up that little street in Bethlehem, his presence can light up the streets around us as well. So we're going to go on some field trips. I haven't done this for a while, but we're going to head out on the road, literally. We're going to talk about how Jesus' light shines on some of the streets that we know best. I'm going to post devotions throughout Advent. I don't have a real schedule for them. I'll put one up every few days. I'll put them on the YouTube channel, share them on our Facebook page, and then probably email out as they go. I hope they're a blessing to you as we think about how Christ shines in these dark streets that we live on. I'll see you out there. God's peace.